Hey everybody, welcome to Module 2's Get It Quick on Algebraic Expressions. Let's get started. So, will you ever use algebra in your real life? Well, maybe not as an actual equation thing for what you're doing, but you're probably using the thinking processes that are involved with it, and you certainly should be seeing some sorts of graphs as you go through your research papers that you'll be reading. Those involve mathematics when you take a look at those things, when you go shopping, figuring out things, figuring out money. When you're traveling, you figure out how long it's going to take you to get somewhere. Blending oils, you'll figure out mixtures, different things like that. There are algebraic thought processes that you're going to do regardless of whether you're actually solving anything algebraic. But you are in the class and you are going to be doing algebra a little bit in our course. So let's take a look at what we're going to be doing in the first lesson. So we want to talk about operations, constants, and variables so that we get our language down. So the variables are the things very commonly we use X, Y, Z, A, B, C, but it can be any symbol that represents an unknown value. We're not sure what the value is, but it represents a number. And for the most part, sometimes it might represent multiple numbers. For most what we're going to do, it's going to be a specific number. So when I see an expression like 2x plus 4y minus 9, and I look at the 2x component, the x is the variable and the 2 is called the coefficient. The same thing with 4y. The 4 is the coefficient and the y is the variable. That minus 9 at the end is considered a constant. The thing 2y, 4y, and the minus 9 are all considered terms of the expression. Another example is 6x cubed. 6 is the coefficient, the variable is x, and the 3 is our exponent. Now, there's a difference between expressions and equations, and the only difference is basically the equal sign. An equation has an equal sign, an expression does not. So we can evaluate expressions. We can write them in words and phrases. We can solve equations, and we can write those in sentences. And here are some examples just to kind of look at for a second. What we're going to be doing in this video is just looking at expressions and evaluating them. So when we evaluate and simplify expressions, what we want to make sure that we do is that we combine like terms. So to be a like term, you have to have the exact same pattern in your variable. If it's an x, you can only combine it with other x's. If you have something like y squared, you can only combine it with y squares. The way we combine them is by adding or subtracting the coefficients of the terms. We're going to need to be doing distribution or multiplying through parentheses to expand, and then we gather our like terms. So here's a problem that you can pause the video and try, and I'll go over it. Simplify the following expression by expanding and collecting like terms. And our expression is 7 times the quantity 4x minus 1 minus 3 times the quantity 7x minus 6. And they want our answer, this is particular for Newton, be careful you enter them correctly, in the form ax plus b. So pause the video and give it a try. So I got my pen here. Let's work on this problem. The first thing I want to do, if you're doing this at home, I would again recommend copying it down exactly the way it was. I'm going to be going ahead and distributing. That means I multiply through the parenthesis by the number in front, each of these individual terms. So 7 times 4x is 28x. 7 times negative 1 is negative 7. Negative 3 times 7x, and notice I have to take the sign with it, would be negative 21x, and negative 3 times negative 6 would be positive 18. Now we'll gather our like terms. That would be the x terms. 28x minus 21x would be 7x. And the numbers, negative 7 plus 18, we would subtract those and get 11. Since 7x and 11 are not like terms, that's as far as this expression can go, and it's in the format that they wanted for the answer. Did you get that correct? If you're having any questions on this, you can certainly email me and we can get together with a one-on-one session and I'd be happy to help you. Next, when we're evaluating an expression, what that means is we're going to be substituting into the expression whatever value they give us for the variable. And then we're going to do the order of operations we see and simplify. So here's an expression, negative d plus negative 9. And they want us to evaluate it when d is negative 8. So go ahead and give that a try. So negative in front of this d, when I substitute in the negative 8, and this is just a good rule of thumb, is to put the negative 8 in parentheses. That way we don't have any problem noticing that we need to do things like multiply, divide, and in this case we have a double negative. So the double negative would make that into a positive 8 plus the negative 9. Now these are opposite signs, so we're going to subtract 9 minus 8, and the 9's bigger in absolute value, so that winds up being negative 1. Did you get that? Okay, let's look at the next one. We have evaluate 7m squared plus 5n minus 2mn when m is 2 and n is negative 3. Pause your video and give this one a try. So we have 7. I'm going to use my parentheses to put in that 2. And I got plus 5n, n is negative 3. I'm using my parentheses again. 2 times m, which is 2, times n, which is negative 3. So once I get the values substituted in, I want to look at the order of operations, see what I should do first. And again, like we did in our other video on order of operations, you might be able to do more than one step at once. Just make sure that you're not violating your order of operations when you do that. So here I see 2 squared, which would be 4. 4 times 7 would be 28. All the rest of it is just multiplications. 5 times negative 3 would be a minus 15. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 times negative 3 would be positive 12. Now, at this point, you might choose to add the two positives together and then subtract, or you can do it from left to right. It's up to you. I'm going to add the 28 and the 12, and that would be 40. And just do the subtraction once. 40 minus the 15 would be 25. I can double check this with my calculator to make sure that it's correct. The calculator only knows what you type in, so be careful when you're typing it in, that you type it in exactly as you see it, and it should verify your work. So I hope that gets you going on your simplifying and evaluating expressions. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.